Hey, I recently had the opportunity to witness how a pod gets picked up. Now, my seller was moving to Florida, and pod was the best option for him. So, the driver shows up in his flatbed, and he has this contraption called PODzilla. It's run by a Honda motor. Not sure the size of it, but it runs all the hydraulics and motors that make PODzilla work. You'll see he's working it with one hand, and he can move it off the truck, turns it across the street, and he goes over and he's going to pick up the pod that's been sitting in your driveway or wherever for some time while you were loading all your stuff into it. So he has to raise it here just to make sure that it clears, obviously. But it's a pretty neat little system there. He gets it to surround the pod, and I always thought it was a forklift or something, but this is it. PODzilla. It actually has a couple of chains you can see there dangling. And he's going to take those chains and he's going to hook them into eyelets that are on both sides of the pod. We'll zoom in here in just a second while he evens it out. Show you, there's a little eyelet there. He's gonna put that chain into it, and what this does is it allows, he's gonna hook it up on all four sides, but it allows that motorized beam system, PODzilla, to lift up your cargo very smoothly and evenly so nothing gets jarred. I was pretty impressed. So he's hooking up the other side, and I have speeded up portions of this video because it gets a little boring to sit there and wait for him to move. So now he's going to stretch it out, put some tension on the chains. You can see them tighten up right there. Now he's going to start to lift it up a little bit. And most of this he's doing with one hand. So he's lifting it off the blocks of wood. I guess it's just customary that when they place the pod down, they put wood underneath it so it doesn't slide around or, start moving on you while you're trying to load your stuff in there. It's taking out all the blocks of wood. See right there it says PODzilla, but you'll see that he's lifted it up, right, and started to roll it out of the driveway. There's a car going by. But you see how it sways, and it's pretty gentle. Hopefully you're smart enough to pack your stuff in there pretty good so it doesn't move around anyways. But now he just runs it across the street. I think it was just some type of lawnmower engine. Not really a lawnmower, but you know what I mean. So now he's gonna line it up with his flatbed to make sure it's nice and straight. So he doesn't have to maneuver the truck too much. That car again. They weren't really driving that fast. So now he just raises the load. And you can see it's all going up even. There's no jerking.
I don't think he wants all that wood, does he?
And he's just going to get it to be a few inches above the bed of his truck. And it'll just sit there. Must have some kind of brakes on it. He's got to load all this wood because I guess they pay the wood forward to the next pod customer. Now I'll just take his truck, back it underneath the load.
Oh, interesting.
PODzilla probably doesn't go great distances. Just safer and easier to move the truck as opposed to a loaded pod. So he just backs it underneath. Gets it in pretty close. This obviously isn't his first day. Now he'll get out, come back to his controls, slowly lower the pod down onto the truck, the bed of the truck. See the tension coming off the chains there. So he's adjusting the load so it's pretty straight and steady. Disconnects the chains. And I'll just make a last few minor adjustments with PODzilla to make sure that pod is sitting on there good and straight. You know, you don't want your stuff bouncing off or jumping around while it's on the bed of his truck. But I mean, either way, you see that pod's pretty strong. PODzilla, he actually lifted up the bed of his truck. Now he's pushing it around the whole pod with that PODzilla. He's got it where he's happy. Just gonna go around, take a visual look, make sure he's in a good position on the bed. One last adjustment. Raise up the tires from PODzilla. Tuck those tires in. He's gonna lock down the load. Crank it down there, you see that? To make sure it's good and tight.
Does he think that's going with the pod and he needs it? And they can probably use it for other people. Yeah.
Paying forward more wood.
Oh. That's it, huh?
Tuck those tires in and he's gone. heading off to Florida with my friend Ted's stuff. That's the end of it. So if you're thinking about moving, you know who to call. Pretty cool video. Peace out.